What if they gave a war and nobody came? Well, it's a line adopted from a Carl Sandburg poem, and it was thrown about quite a bit during the Vietnam War era. But what if in a major war, the people did come in great numbers, but few people know about them or give them credit? Well, that's the situation reenactors of the 3rd U.S. Colored Cavalry and descendants of the veterans of that Civil War group are trying to correct. And they're doing it with living history events like the one held near Natchez recently. Well, the first time I ever heard of African-American soldiers in the Civil War came when I saw this headstone in the Grand Gulf Cemetery in Claiborne County. Couldn't figure out what the USC stood for. It's United States Colored Infantry. Never heard of them. Well, that lack of acknowledgement and lack of knowledge is what the members of the 3rd U.S. Colored Cavalry reenactors are trying to combat. Now, they were recently at the annual Black and Blue Living History event at Jefferson College in Washington near Natchez. Black and Blue acknowledges the black soldiers who wore the blue uniform of the Union in the Civil War. John Russell is spokesperson for the group. But why is the contribution of these troops not more prominent in the history books?
Well, you said it's the U.S. Colored Cavalry. In reality, if they did the history, this unit should be more famous than any cavalry unit from the Civil War because they were the fightingest Union cavalry unit of the war.
Well, thank goodness for Google. You can look them up. The 3rd U.S. Colored Cavalry was organized here in Mississippi and saw action from Milligan's Bend in the Vicksburg Campaign all the way through Grierson's second raid through Mississippi in 1865, when a good half of his troops were African-American, and much more.
It was never presented history.
The African-American presence in the Civil War has really just started to come to light. Now, for instance, the African-American monument in the Vicksburg Park was just erected in 2004. And on this day, descendants of the members of the 3rd U.S. Colored Cavalry are at this event celebrating their veteran ancestors.
Our grandfather was Brad Ford. He's buried at the National Cemetery here as a Civil War soldier.
Well, the war has been over for more than a century and a half, but the campaign continues for recognition for the African Americans who fought in it. And the 3rd U.S. Colored Cavalry reenactors have a couple of goals. One is short-term.
Trying to stay on our horses.
But the long-term goal shed some light on a page of our history that's been overlooked and bring recognition to the U.S. colored troops of the Civil War, another group of honored veterans who fought and died for America.